So, anyways, I thought I'd do something a little different than my usual anti-government crap. I was thinking I'd do a video on life. So, here's what I gotta say. What I gotta say is, what you have to realize is there's not always gonna be compassionate. I mean, not everyone is gonna be a compassionate, caring person. Some people are really callous and tone deaf and really don't care. Like, not everyone's gonna care about the less fortunate. Whether or some people that just say to the homeless or say about the homeless, just get a job. Or some people that, when it comes to domestic violence victims, they blame the person who's being abused. I met a woman in college that didn't really care about domestic violence victims. You got people that don't really care about people that are having trouble finding a job. Sorry, that was my pops in the camera. Anyways, you got people that um even on like the internet, of course, for affinity in particular, that don't care about struggles people are going through. I even read this journal of a really callous artist that she thought it was really dumb and cringe that people would often go to her for a shoulder to cry on. A shoulder to cry on, in case I wasn't clear. For help with their struggles, at least someone to talk to. A bunch of artists agreed with her and they found it cringe. And one person even said if someone approached me with a shoulder to cry on, to paraphrase, and they said something like, I tell them to rub a light bulb against toast, something like that. And he said a nonsensical proposition deserves a nonsensical answer. And of course, I don't agree with that bullshit. I do know not everyone should be confided in, if I could talk. And that I guess technically people aren't obligated to give you a shoulder crying, though it's nice if they do. But to just be so callous for someone daring to have the audacity to try and seek help and trying to ask people, including you, for that help, just go around try to get help by asking people, to like be so mad at them is just really wrong. But I digress about that scenario. I mean, the world can be very callous. It can be very frustrating. People can be frustratingly selfish and lack compassion and sympathy and empathy and all that entails. I don't know why. I mean, I'm not expecting everyone to be everyone's friend or to even have all this stuff, compassion and empathy and sympathy I think people should have, but I feel like more people should have it. I have it, or at least I try to have it. And I think the important thing to realize is the unfortunate deserve your sympathy and compassion and empathy and all that. Sympathy and all that jazz. They're less fortunate, they need help. I think the least you can do is offer them a shoulder to cry on or an ear to listen to what they have to say if you can. Not obligated to, but you can. It's a good thing. And I can see why life is divided. Sorry, my stupid glasses. I can see why life is divided into the haves and have-nots, because the have-nots don't have it so good, and the haves sometimes they don't care about the former, the have-nots. They're like, I got mine, fuck you. And that's really unfortunate. But when you have a selfish society or humanity or whatever, you're gonna get people like that. I mean, you're gonna have to like kind of be at peace at terms that not everyone's gonna care about you. Like, not everyone is gonna care about a person who's starving and destitute on the streets. Not everyone's gonna care about a guy getting beat up by like a thug or more thugs. As shown in this video in Australia, I can link it. There's this guy in a fursuit costume in Australia He was being banged up by 3 guys in front of a crowd. Nobody did anything. I think he got police later when he could, when they were finished beating on him, but they couldn't find him, of course. And this is Australia, which makes it even worse because self-defense laws are even worse in Australia than the US. Like, if someone's trying to, like, really beat your ass down in the US, at least you're allowed to carry a gun and blast them dead, but in Australia, you're not allowed to have self-defense, really. You're allowed to have guns for sport, and, okay, that's a bit of a tangent, but anyway. And, not everyone's gonna care if you're having trouble finding a job, and, you want somebody to give you a goddamn chance, yet nobody wants to give you a chance, it's just, they shake your hand during the interview, you leave after it's done, and then you hear nothing from them, or you hear you're rejected, or even, you don't even get an interview, The job market's been real shit lately in the US, at least. It'd be nice if these companies had more of a brain and maybe even perhaps more compassion and would hire people that honestly deserve to be hired. Yeah, I know you're not entitled to a job, but if you're qualified for the position, why not give it to you? If you're the one, why pass someone up on stupid roles like DEI or affirmative action or overqualified, employment gap, that kind of shit. Fucking throat. Anyways, not everyone's gonna care if you've got a drug problem. And I mean, I heard, and no, not, God, I'm stupid. In 10th, no, God, I'm stupid. Okay, in 12th grade, if I could calculate my brain, I think it was 12th grade. Okay. Okay, in 12th grade, I had a physics teacher named Mr. Pesha. He was a 12-inch dick. As in, he was a dickhead, he was an asshole. He said, basically, he said a lot of judgmental things over the semesters, over the year, and he said that drug users are a blemish on society. Well, and there you go, you're someone who doesn't care about people that suffer with addiction and shit like that. It's like, oh, because they use drugs, they're deviants and they're a blemish on society. I mean, well, obviously, fuck those people who are judgmental and fuck Mr. Peshek. Fuck you, Mr. Peshek, wherever you are. And I guess I gotta say this. Even if people lack compassion and shit, I think it's still worth being a compassionate, empathetic, sympathetic person anyway. Because it enriches the world, even if there's tons of assholes out there. It enriches the world for at least you not to be an asshole, for at least you to care and show compassion, even help a person out when they need it. As Chester Bennington, the late Linkin Park singer said, when a man falls down or when someone falls down, you pick him up, and I agree. So, based on that, I gotta say it's been quite a bumpy ride with a lot of us, with us trying to endure this world. I'm not gonna go like the misanthropic route anymore. I mean, I have, but I'm not gonna do that anymore. Stop being misanthropic a while back, and I'm not gonna go the absolute depressive route like everything just sucks, it's all meaningless, all pointless, or I'm not gonna go the despair route in any way, shape, or form. Fuck this. I'm gonna have hope no matter what. And I implore you to not only have selflessness, but to have hope too. To care, to love, to think, to act. I hope you guys all do that and have hope that it'll get better. I mean, even if you even if you aren't quite, I don't know how to say this. Maybe that's for another day. Anyways, I I guess I just like to see a world where people care more. I mean, I tried caring, I have cared, have done things for people before. I I really think a lot of compassion, or a little compassion, or a little empathy would go a long way. Because when you care about another person like you would yourself, or your friends, or your family, or whoever you're close to, you feel you're more likely to be altruistic towards them and help out than if you just view them as a totally separate, irrelevant entity. I mean, when you don't care about someone, you're basically saying you're irrelevant. I don't care about you. I don't care about your hardships. I don't care about your troubles. I don't care about any injustices inflicted upon you by whoever. I just don't care about you. And that's sad, but when you view first, when you kind of think to yourself, hey, this is a person just like me, and it looks like they're going through a rough spot, and maybe I could help, you're more likely to help them. I, I, I just, I feel like, I guess, on another note, for bystander effect, at least call the police if you see someone getting their ass beat by a thug or some thugs. Please at least do that. I mean, it's the least you could do. You can't intervene directly, at least get someone who can, you know? But, you know, I guess I digress on that. So, anyways, that's kind of what I have to say. Unless I can think of anything more about life, you know, the universe and everything. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy reference, but anyways, book. It's a book, old book, or in the 70s, I think, about traveling the universe or the galaxy, at least. Anyways, I I don't know. So I guess that's it for now. So thanks for listening.